The Audi RS e-tron GT is being called a lot of things over the internet. Some people call it Tony Stark's car in the Avengers movie, while others call it the lesser cousin to the Porsche Taycan. But to me, I call it a simple thing, the coolest EV in Malaysia right now. First things first, let's not beat around the bush here. This car is very closely related to the Porsche Taycan. They were developed together under the same Volkswagen AG group, and under the skin, they're practically the same cars with the same battery, the same technologies, the same motors as well. But of course, when the Germans do it, they don't call it a simple rebadge, it's badge engineering. The Audi e-tron GT is already open for booking here. In Malaysia, there's going to be 3 different variants of it. The range starts from the so-called base non-RS e-tron GT Quattro, and that's going to start from around 550,000 ringgit. In the middle, there is a much higher spec version called the Dynamic Package that pushes the price up to about 640,000. This is the top of the line RS e-tron GT, and this is going to be priced around 750,000 ringgit. Now clearly that's not a cheap price, nor should it be. This is a fully fledged electric car that would shame most sports cars out there, and it's also an Audi, a proper premium brand at that. And even at 750,000 ringgit, this is still about 100,000 ringgit less than the comparable Porsche Taycan Turbo. Now let's talk about what makes this car such a standout, the performance. In RS trim, this makes just under 600 PS and 830 Newton meters of torque. And then for a short burst of 2.5 seconds, you can also engage boost mode, brings it up to just under 650 PS. Now, 0 to 100 is done in just 3.3 seconds, and that's even quicker than most sports cars. This is even quicker than Tony Stark's old car. The most powerful version of it was the R8 GT. Even with its 5.2-litre screaming V10, it's no match for this. It's the same with the top speed as well. With most EVs, they are really quick accelerating from a standstill, but beyond say 100 km per hour, the performance really tapers off. So top speed for most EVs are around 200 km per hour or even less. But not this one. This has a 2-speed transmission, so you really get that big kick in the butt even beyond extra legal speeds. Top speed, this goes up to 250. Now on to the EV portion of this car. This has an 85 kWh battery pack, giving a maximum range of up to 500 kilometers on a single charge. This also runs on the very latest 800-volt electrical architecture, so charging it back up is quicker than in most other cars as well. This has a maximum DC fast charging rate of 270 kilowatts, so at the maximum rate, you can go from 0 to 80% SOC in just over 20 minutes. Imagine that, charge it for 5 minutes, you get up to 100 kilometers of range back. If that's not fast enough for you, I don't know what is. Even for AC charging, this car is quicker than most EVs out there. This has a 22 kilowatt onboard AC charger that's twice as fast as most other EVs out there. And yes, this car actually has 2 separate charging ports, a Type 2 port on the right side for AC charging and a CCS port on the left for DC charging. Now let's move on to styling. While it's clear that both the Porsche Taycan and this car have the same bones underneath, they don't really look too similar to each other on the outside. The Taycan has a rather low sports car-like front end, while this e-tron has a much taller, much rounder front end. Now this is to fit this really big Audi single frame grille, here finished in full body color, tactical green if you're interested. Look up close, and it's even got this diamond pattern on it. It looks really nice, especially up close with all the light play around it. And then you've got the lights as well. These are the very top end matrix LED headlights with laser beams. And then you've got the LED DRLs that dances around, looks really cool. The same at the back as well. This is easily one of the most visually striking cars out on the road in Malaysia today. Onto the side, the RS rides on really big 21-inch alloys. Now these look really cool, but up close, Yeah, it's got really cheap sounding plastic inserts. Now, the tires are specific to the car as well. These are Goodyear Eagle F1 asymmetric 5s with electric drive technology. Even the brakes are special too. The discs have a tungsten carbide coating, giving off a really nice mirror-like finish. Now with this, no one's gonna call your brakes rusty anymore. So the Audi e-tron does miss out on a few fancier things on the Porsche Taycan. For instance, you need to open up the charging flap manually instead of having it retract automatically like in the Taycan. And then you've got traditional pull type door handles over here instead of the much nicer flush self-presenting handles on the Porsche. But then again, you're paying 100,000 ringgit less. Yeah, I can live with this. This car looks really good from the back as well, especially with this full width wraparound taillights, and the LEDs can do a bit of a light show when you want it. Looks absolutely fantastic. But my favorite part has to be the really thick and chunky rear haunches above the rear wheels. Looks really nice, really sporty. And then you've also got this self-deployable automatic spoiler. Looks nice as well. Back here though, it's very clear to see the relationship between this car and the Porsche Taycan, because just take a look at the overall shape. Now the e-tron GT may have all the signature Audi styling attributes, but the shape, the profile, that is clearly much more of a Porsche 911 Porsche Panamera rather than Audi Sportback. But anyway, let's move on inside, where I clearly think this is nicer than the Taycan. This to me is such a fantastic interior. It looks good, it looks sporty and modern all at the same time, and it's very high quality as well. You've got proper Alcantara at the top and on the door cards, full leather top of the dashboard, real carbon fiber down the center, and fine Napa leather on the seats. You can't get any better than this, I think. Now, some of you may think the Porsche Taycan's interior is a bit more futuristic, a bit more high-tech. Now, that may be true, but I think they've just gone a bit too far in modernizing that interior. Just simple acts like adjusting the aircon vents, you have to go through the touchscreen in the Porsche. That is too much, I think. Here on the Audi e-tron GT, most of your major controls that you use every day, all day, use physical buttons. Now, being such a fast car where you'll be traveling at higher speeds most of the time, having familiar buttons that don't move around is definitely a good thing. Even the simple things are better in the Audi, I think. To select your gears, you use this rocker switch in the traditional position, while in the Porsche, the small tiny stub that's hidden behind the steering wheel right there. This to me is a much better solution. But having said that, it's not without its quirks either, because just to adjust the volume, you have to run your finger around this small touchpad. Yeah, why though? Now in the back here, unsurprisingly, is just not very good. Looking at the sloping roof on the outside, you can just tell the headroom is not going to be great, and it isn't. Now I am only 167 centimeters tall, and even then, my hair's already just about touching the ceiling right here. Legroom is not too bad. I would say this is similar to, say, a BMW 3 Series or a Mercedes-Benz C-Class. But even then, you can't really fit any more than 2 passengers in the back because of the way the bench is shaped. Now, talking about the seats themselves, they're actually very comfortable. They just hug you nicely on the side, even for longer journeys, even for spirited driving. I think these rear seats are just fine. Just don't expect, limo-like experience back here. Same goes for the boot as well. At the back, there is a decent size of about 350 liters. It's a bit shallow, but you should be able to fit a few bags in there, no problem. As an extra, you also have a pretty practical frunk at the front with about 90 liters of space. Now, that is far more usable than the pathetic spaces in the Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. So there you go guys, the ins and outs of the Audi RS e-tron GT. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And would you prefer this over the Porsche Taycan? Let me know in the comment section below. For now, thank you for watching and stay safe everyone.